afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashley Owens, and you are watching Connect to Success with me, Ashley Owens. Today, we are talking with some amazing power networkers, but my very, very wonderful guest is Ryan. I'm going to screw up your last name, so we're going to try this again. Ryan Pereus from RPMC. I'm so glad you're here, man. Like, we're friends, so it's cool, and I'm really thrilled that you're here today.
Dude, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this is so awesome. It's so funny just watching you on social media.
Oh, thanks, man.
And just the fact that you're just nonstop.
I haven't slept in 24 hours. Just kidding.
That's
a little, it's the drugs. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't blame you. And like, you've got celebrity status in Philly.
Oh, stop.
In like a year.
Stop. All right, we're not going to talk about me anymore because I'm
It's
going to either
hard.
cry or pass out. So
It's hard not to.
I know. So you and I met, and I want to talk more about, honestly, like you are a very, very great strategic partner because a lot of things that come on my desk are the ones that I actually pass off to you guys because we have kind of work hand in hand in the networking, but also in the connecting aspect.
Yeah.
So what that means is, before we even get into how awesome that part is of our relationship, I want to learn, like, you started your own business. And how old are you, may I ask?
I'm 33.
You're 33, okay.
Yeah.
So you started your own business. When did you start RPMC and why did you start it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've always had some type of, business development background, regardless of what I was doing. So, I started like on eBay really young, going door to door, selling landscaping services, newspapers, candy from the school.
Yeah.
It was real candy.
Yeah.
But I always kind of had that hunter mentality.
Okay.
And so I always had a business development role when I got into my professional career.
Okay.
So when I started to think about what I really want to do with my life, I thought, this is a passion of mine and I'm good at it. And I think the world might need it at some point. And so I started to just do some consulting and script writing on my own.
Okay.
For people looking for cold call scripts.
Okay, so that's what your business is. So just to kind of explain to the audience kind of what you do, and then how you've kind of come up from it.
Yeah, so that's kind of the core. Like my whole business, Pereus Marketing, RPMC, is based around a script, a message about the way that humans connect to products and services. So it's really based on a dialogue between someone you've never met and how to connect with someone to generate a business relationship.
So you work with companies to essentially have a human-to-human lead generation, cold calling process that allows for more of a robust business development plan.
Yeah, absolutely. So it started as a script writing and then evolved into outbound cold calling appointment setting for companies, B2B. So people who are looking for like legs for their outbound marketing department, someone who doesn't know how to cold call or just doesn't have the time, that's what we're for, is they can outsource that cold calling to us.
So why cold calling? How did you get, is that something you've always wanted to be when you were like 7? It's fireman, astronaut, cold calling, business executive.
Yeah, right. Like no one really thinks that usually. But like I said, just being like a hunter growing up and like always trying to find business for myself, it was less like about entrepreneurship and more about, that's what I thought it was, but I was really just selling the whole time and having to create the relationship. So, Stephen Covey says like your voice is a combination between what you're good at, what you love, and also what the world needs. So kind of, I found as I got older, that's what my sweet spot was, or my voice. And so I just kind of went for it and went after helping people to outsource their cold calling appointment setting.
So how was that first year for you when you started the business?
Yeah, it was a science experiment.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it's just like I didn't know what was going to work, but I knew I had something that was different than a lot of other people had. And on my previous jobs, I was taught a certain way, but I thought that the way that I engaged people from 0 to 1 was different and actually converted into more opportunities.
Oh wow! So you took an idea, you put it into a plan, you took the process that you knew that worked. You've tested it.
Yeah.
And then you've built this human-to-human lead generation company that has a success. With cold calling, and again, we are getting a little ahead of ourselves, but I really want to learn more about, your background is so interesting because it's a lot of people's backgrounds. We go into these different positions where we're either selling, we're either, on the support level role, and sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't. But how has, getting into sales kind of generated the way that you do business?
I guess, sales, whether business owners like it or not, sales is the most important part of their business. I think I read a book by Mark Cuban recently. He says, you got to get this right in your business, you got to get this right in your business. But if these go wrong, this goes wrong, at the end of the day, sales cures all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And
so if you have that lifeblood pumping into your business, then you have opportunity for mistakes and growth and learning.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it, is that you're always learning, you're always growing. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
It does. No, it absolutely does. So you're definitely a big reader. So what's the book that you're reading right now?
That's a good one. So I'm actually a pretty big audiobook listener.
Okay.
Does that count? Does that count as reading?
I think it counts. Can we raise a hand? Brett, we're good. It counts? Okay.
It counts as reading?
Counts? Good.
All right, good. So I take the train a lot to work, so I listen to a lot of audiobooks. So right now I'm listening actually to Zig Ziglar.
Oh, yeah. All right, tell people what that is.
Yeah, Zig Ziglar. So he's kind of one of the grandfathers of sales in modern America right now. So came up with some pretty interesting closing techniques and ways to go about sales, but really coming up in the 90s and had a big influence on sales today. So I wanted to get to know one of our sales grandfathers.
Oh gosh, that's pretty sweet actually. That's really interesting. All right, so what has, speaking of books, what has the most impact on you? A book that was the one that was like, this is me. How do I take this and put it into a plan?
Yeah, so I think probably the one that had the biggest impact on me was 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Stephen Covey.
Yeah,
I'll go
that's
back
a good
to
one.
him.
That's a good one.
Yeah, you've read that one?
I have taken I was working at SCI Investments, and I had taken a course in that.
Yeah.
I think I'm certified. There's a paperwork somewhere. I'm not sure. It's
You are.
so long ago.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good. I'm SME in that. Okay, great.
Yeah.
There's paperwork somewhere, but no,
Yeah.
I found it to be very profound. But I agree. I think that there's a lot of tidbits you can take from it that you can kind of gyrate and maneuver into a business that works for you, because it's so foundational.
Yeah.
In the way that you talk about people in general.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely, especially if you're trying to build your business or trying to figure out how to navigate your business, he just helps you to work on you first and set up these structures in place so that you don't falter or wobble,
Yeah.
It's just laser focus.
Love it. Now on that note with laser focus, when we come back, we're going to talk with Ryan on why people hate cold calling. Stay tuned.
Where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call now.
Thousands of people contact General Steel each month for a pre-engineered steel building. Business owners who need office, retail, manufacturing, or storage facilities. Leaders who need churches, schools, and gymnasiums. They all want the same thing, the advantages of owning. To build quickly and save money. Quality, backed by our 50-year structural warranty. And they all want to work with a name they know, General Steel. Call us today for the building you need and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to our to RPMC. My God, I need more coffee. To RVN TV. My name is Ashley Owens. Thank you for joining us on your lunch break. I have Ryan from RPM. There's too many R's. RPMC, who is a very good friend of mine, but is also he does a lot of human-to-human lead generation with this company RPMC. And what we were talking about before the break was just how you got started. Some books that influence you, which is so important, especially as you're building your business. Mm-hmm. But what I really want to talk about, because I'm sure a lot of our audience is kind of thinking is cold calling sucks, man. It sucks. And so I'm playing the devil's advocate.
Ouch.
I'm just a little fired for that.
Okay. It's okay.
So why do you think, a couple things, why do you think people hate cold calling?
Yeah.
And how have you been able to overcome that stigma and put it into a business that's been fruitful for you?
Man, those are really good questions.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that people hate cold calling for pretty legitimate reasons.
Okay.
You know, it can be awkward, right? Like you're calling, first of all, you're on the phone dialing maybe 100, 150 calls a day, you know, and there's a lot of rejection. It can be awkward, and it can be easy to take some of that rejection from trying to start a new relationship very personally.
Yeah.
You know, because you put your heart and soul into your business, and then you try to reach out to somebody to tell them about it and how you could help, and they're just like, nope, click.
Yeah.
And you just get that all day, and it can be pretty disheartening. You know, so I think there's that aspect, and there's also from the buyer perspective. You know, everyone always likes to hate on telemarketers because you're getting calls all day.
Yeah.
Right? You know, at dinner or while you're in a meeting or something like that. So I know that it can seem annoying because you are really interrupting somebody's day whenever there's a cold call.
So with that being said, how have you guys have changed the game a little bit on that to make it more of a positive experience for the end user?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think that there's a certain dialogue, and it kind of goes back to that messaging I was talking about. There's a certain way to talk to people. You know, our subtitle is the conversation that connects humans to products and services. Wow. You know, so I tell our team that high level, and I tell this to our clients as well, very high level, the purpose of a cold call is actually to build trust.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think if we're able to use that in a conversation and say certain things that work more towards building trust rather than trying to get the sale, you know, then people can actually feel more diffused and be open to what you're going to say.
And you know what's really interesting about that statement too is that know, like, and trust factor is very, very apparent in networking, and it also caters into a lot of what you're talking about because you're building that relationship, you're building that rapport, and you're not doing the hard sell. There was and again, I don't want to talk about your team, but yeah, there they are. That's awesome on the screen.
Yeah.
I want you to give us a shout out to a couple of your teammates who kind of rock it all the time for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So right there in our picture, we have Teresa, Dennis, and Will.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've been solid for us for quite a while now. Teresa's been in, you know, the telemarketing with us for the last 6 months or so, but then also she's been doing a lot of the event marketing as well that we do. So she has a lot of experience, kind of that human to human. Dennis has been the same, always had that person to person. Yeah.
I've worked with Dennis. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's a bulldog.
Yeah.
And he's our senior VP currently.
Nice. Oh, did he just get promoted?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, Dennis. I know you're
job,
watching right
buddy.
now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So just a little tidbit about Dennis because I adore this guy. He is on top of every technology, like new tech, new app, and he tests all this stuff out to build this great plan. But that's just in his free time. He loves that stuff.
Yeah. So it's funny because we're an outbound marketing company, but we haven't actually been to a networking event in a while. We're gonna talk. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, but it's because of Dennis bringing in a lot of inbound opportunity using a lot of those tools that he has. So yeah.
That's incredible. All right, so speaking of your awesome team, they're no longer there. Thanks, guys. I definitely want to talk about, there was an article you wrote recently about the boomerang effect. Do you remember that article you wrote? Can you talk about that? Because I feel that that's a really good example.
Yeah, that's interesting. So whenever you're on a cold call, there's always this salesman stigma that people don't want to set an appointment with you because like, oh, they're just trying to sell me, right? So if you go for initial ask when you're on the phone, like, hey, this might be a good fit. Would you be available for a quick chat, say next Wednesday at 3? And then they say no. Well, you can actually just back off and say, hey, no problem. Do you mind if I just send you some information? And at least you can check us out. And then that pressure kind of dies down.
Yep.
But then we call it the boomerang because you ask, it's kind of like you threw it out there and it's away from you now, the appointment's away. But to bring it back, you kind of ask, well, could I just send you some information? And they say yes. So you've gotten a small yes.
They're opting in.
They're opting in,
yeah.
Right? Awesome. Well, once you've had a chance to check it out, could I actually call you maybe sometime next week or so just to see what you thought? Oh, well, yeah, that's fine. That sounds a lot better, right, than a hard appointment.
Yep.
All right, great. Well, since we're just on the phone, could I just reach out to you, say, next Wednesday at this time?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Also, do you mind if my managing partner, my owner, my supervisor actually reaches out to you next Wednesday at 3? Would that work for you? And I'll send you the information right after this call.
Yeah. It just makes it, I'm just like super calm right now. Like there is no BS that goes into it.
Hypnotism.
It's just like, yes, I would love to talk to everybody that's important at your company.
That's right.
I'd love to hang out with you guys.
You get it.
I think that's a great plan. Now, I know you have a lot of content out there. You do. I know that you write a lot of articles. Mm-hmm. Do you have any, and this might be a project that you're working on, any takeaways, like any templates that you typically use or examples of what you guys use that you can kind of, bring to your audience? Or is that more on the, hey, this is what you could do?
Right.
More on the higher level.
You mean when you're actually having a conversation with somebody?
Yeah, like examples of that, just so people can refer back to this conversation.
Yeah, for sure. We talk about the 4 core components of a cold call.
Okay.
And so we say it's the quick pitch, the lead in, the elevator pitch, and the call to action. If you can keep it to those 4. And basically the idea is this is that whole design of the way that humans connect. So in the beginning of a call, if you ever got a cold call, you're not just sitting there twiddling your thumbs waiting for someone to call you, right? Mm-hmm. I'm actually interrupting somebody's day. So if I call someone, I'm not just going to go and dump a bunch of information. I'm just going to say hello, get them in the right frame of mind of thinking, and then ask a follow-up question to start a conversation and to find out really important information about their business that I can tailor to my conversation later.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a very similar thing to networking. I mean, that's why I'm so glad you're here, because it's a lot of what you're talking about is virtual, essentially, right? You're on the phone.
Yeah.
So when you're you can have these kinds of conversations in person too, and it can be more of a casual thing, but I love those 4 C's.
Yeah. 4 core components of a cold call.
4.
Yeah, it's a tongue twister as well.
I haven't finished this yet, so we're not going to try that. But
no, that's good.
The idea is to have a strategy when you're going into a conversation, but you're more on, not the selling side, but the first, like say, the first touch, right?
That's
the
right.
first conversation
Yeah.
is very much engaging that. And what I really want to bring to everyone's attention is the fact that when you're networking too, it's the same thing. It's the same aspect. You're not selling. What you're doing is it's a marketing opportunity and a sales one, where you're building up that rapport and then going on to the next phase, which is having that meeting.
That's right. Yeah, and yours is definitely, like, cold calling can be much more systematic. I think yours definitely is a system, but there is a lot more, I feel, to it when you're networking, because you are in person, and I can see why people are fearful. So yeah, kudos to networking.
It's terrifying sometimes too, believe me. I think that I know what I'm doing half the time.
You do.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. No, I do want to talk to you about, okay, so your team, a lot of times cold calling companies are outsourced.
Yeah.
So you guys are all in Russia. Is that correct?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So we're all U.S. American accents, and I know that's a big deal for some folks, and not that anyone with an accent can't work, but the fact of the matter is that if you're calling upper level executives, and there's our team there, kind of in the bullpen, as we say, kind of working it during the day. But I think that what were we talking about? I got distracted by our team.
Vodka?
Yeah, what did you put in there?
I don't know. It's Kahlua. Sorry, buddy. No, talking about how everyone in your office is in your office. They're not in different areas. Everyone works together as a team. It's very much an engaging aspect.
So that's huge, because I want to hear what's going on out there. And anytime there might be something that is just a little bit off or might not be the best thing to say, like, we want to coach our team and help them to continually improve their conversation.
Right, and on that note, when we come back, we're going to talk to Ryan about his practical tips and tactical takeaways, especially in the cold calling world, but how you can take that and gyrate that on any avenue of your business development. Stay tuned, we'll see you soon.
When did you see the sign?
When I needed to jumpstart sales.
Build attendance for an event.
Help people find their way. Fast Signs designed new directional signage.
And got them back on track. Get started at fastsigns.com.
Is your business growing and now you need a new and bigger building? Has your organization outgrown their facility and now it's time to expand? Do your hobbies require the need for more space? If you're paying rent, but now you want the advantages of owning, the prospect of financing, construction, and on-time completion may seem out of your reach. General Steel Corporation has the answer.
A pre-engineered steel building from the General will not only look great and satisfy almost any need, but you'll save time and money. Our team will help you create your building and deliver it to your location. We offer design services to help you present your concept to board members, bankers, or for fundraising. And the General can even help with financing. General Steel is a name you know, with quality backed by a 50-year structural warranty. Call today and find out how easy it is to have the building you want. You may even save up to $20,000 with rebates. If you need space, you need the General.
Seniors.
And welcome back to Connect to Success with Ashley Owens at 12:30 on RVN TV. I have Ryan from RPMC, and before our break, we talked about some great things about his team, how cold calling is wildly effective, and how the stigma can be shifted based off of some really core components.
Yeah.
So I loved that because it just takes that whole crap from the top.
Yep.
People have such a bad taste in their mouth about cold calling, but what I really love about what you're doing is that you're putting a human component to it, which is just a conversation. So speaking of conversations, I know that you said you don't do a lot of networking. That's fine. I mean, it works differently there's no secret sauce to it. How has maybe how do you network? Because you are coming from a very different angle, right? So how do you, as a business owner, network effectively? And that could be with conversations, that could be with inbound leads, whatever it may be. How do you do that effectively in your business?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So I think, kind of some of the marketing strategies we use are to diversify, and so we have some outlets that we're on right now where people can find us if they're looking for this type of service. So we're on, online work sites, that people can go to, and if they're looking for cold call service, then they can kind of scroll through a few different options, and then, we're one of those. Also doing a lot of the, standard SEO and web design, but there is a whole networking side that we've found just, through, like we met at a networking event, and we've found a lot of business through networking, which has been huge for us, and not only does that networking, when we go out into the community, help business, but it also has like this longer domino effect to our business. Because if you meet a couple people, it's a lot easier for them to refer because it's almost like your friends now, and so it's easy for them to stay in the top of their mind. And that way they'll refer you, and and you also get, I think, more brand awareness and publicity in that sphere. So
I think you're building your champions, right? You're building the champion of the people around you that are able to refer based off of that relationship that you have built. So in the beginning, how much did you network as you were building up your business?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
It was huge in the very beginning because when the SEO isn't up or the online work profiles aren't up, then all you have is yourself.
Yeah.
So we actually ran our own cold call campaigns to generate our own business, and it worked.
Wow.
So, and we got sales from it.
Yeah.
So I think that's been huge for our clients to hear, is this isn't just something that we don't use ourselves, like we walk the walk as well.
Right.
So
it's interesting in that respect, because I've had marketing companies that have come to me that says, hey, we need help with inbound marketing or lead gen. And I'm like, okay, but what are you doing for your clients?
Yep.
Like, how are you not what would you tell your clients if they came to you for this? And so that sometimes I have a tough time kind of wrapping my head around of like, how are you able to provide a level of service? But it's really great to know that you guys practice what you preach. You put into, and you run with it. Like, you're a case study, and you've built from that. So a lot of people don't, or at least people that come to me don't necessarily have that wherewithal to know about that. Do you have any cool metrics about cold calling that you can kind of throw out there about like, what are the best times to call throughout the week? Yeah.
That's so funny. Best times to call. So, typically it does vary industry to industry. And I think that's something that a lot of people will ask us when we do a campaign for them, is like, well, what time would you call? And sometimes we ask them, well, what time have you found success first? Because we've called for so many different industries that each one might be different.
Yeah.
Like a lot of healthcare facilities might close at 4:30, right? But some other businesses might be open till 6 or 7, So I think the biggest thing that we found is when we track all that information as we go, but to stay within business hours and to try to get some people early, like across the board, if you can get in there early. A lot of times if we're calling top level executives, that's when they're kind of getting their day ready. They're not in a lot of meetings yet. So a lot of times they have the chance to answer the phone.
Like between 7 and 9 type thing?
Yeah, I mean, probably not quite 7,
Okay.
but yeah, like I would say starting at 8 a.m., you know, 8 to 9:30 or something like that is a really good time to do that.
That's great. And you guys, how do you generate your lists? It comes from your clients, but it also comes from your own resources?
Yeah. So we have a couple research assistants that help us to
Nice.
generate lists. So whether that's kind of scrapping through LinkedIn or Google searches or directories, there's a lot of online directories right now that you can go to, like realtors.com, or you can go to, you know, specific industry directories that can help you to identify, you know, opportunity.
Well, which one would you recommend?
Well, it depends, I guess, on your industry. You know,
Let's say healthcare.
Healthcare. I don't have a good answer.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say I have to go back because we have a whole list of that. But I think the biggest thing for finding lists is to make sure, first of all, you know exactly who you want. Because a lot of times directories can be misleading and can get you company numbers or can get you more general numbers that are going to be hard to navigate phone systems.
So speaking of hard to navigate, how do people navigate you?
How do people navigate
How do people navigate you? How do people find you on places?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website is PereusMarketing.com. So like, just remember Paris, France. Yeah. Easy. Yeah. So Pereus Marketing.com. Our phone number is 267-571-7008.
You all should call them. You all should call them.
You should all call me. I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting for the cold call.
And LinkedIn? And
LinkedIn.
You're on social media?
Social media, LinkedIn, working on that.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's all up and running. So please, you know, message us. Even if you're interested in just kind of learning a little bit more, like we just love to talk about it. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ryan, for being here. I'm so pumped, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
On that note, thank you very much to Ryan from RPMC. I am thrilled to have him on the show today. Thank you very much for watching during your lunch break. And we will see you next week on RVN TV with Connected Success with Ashley Owens. That's me. Stay tuned next week for our next guest, and have a great lunch.